We are live. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Right off the gate, Pooh Bear, our producer, says that this damn intro's longer than a CVS receipt. Well, we got hit with a copyright and had to take things down so nobody gets to listen to a Rudy Poo thing. And then the Pastor Jr. came up in this thing and said longer than Pasta Jr. message. I don't know what that means. But what I do know is that it is longer than a complaint line at Deshaun Watson's civil hearings. Too soon? Pooh Bear, is it too soon? Can I not make a Deshaun Watson joke? It's not funny. It really isn't funny. But as Deshaun Watson, if you didn't see today, Deshaun Watson was suspended 6 games. From Sue, what was it, Sue Bird or whatever her name was, the federal attorney. And it got Twitter and Facebook and everybody up in arms. Everybody's mad. I don't know the solution to this. Nor do I act as if that I do. So I'm going to let that one and leave that be. Maybe one day we can have this conversation, maybe like an AYS late night show or something like that. But regardless, I don't have the words right now. Doug knows. Let's get to a couple comments, though, because we do have a big show in store for you. I'll get to Doug's comment in just a second. But huge show in store for you tonight. Guys, as Zach's on the phone talking to his brand new girlfriend or boyfriend, however he rolls. But we have LSU football camp starting this week. Can I get a yes? Yeah! LSU football is back this Thursday as the LSU Tigers will report on Wednesday. We'll talk about that. Talk about some things that I'm looking forward to the most. We've talked about that before, but just really want to bring that home as the first thing that we're going to be looking for on Thursday to start camp. We will get into a little bit of a Ruffino's rants about Brian Kelly and people still saying that he can't recruit. We talked about this on Saturday in our Saturday morning show that we'll be bringing back for football season. We'll talk about it more again and a little bit more in depth as well than what we did, especially after this weekend. We'll say it like that. Carter the Power Bryant joins us at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You guys know what every Monday is. It's Carter the Power Time. Always fantastic. And at the end, and I'm sure we'll talk about this with Carter, we'll give a recruiting update. As the show goes on. I put something. So Rooney asked and sent us $1.99 via Super Chat. Says, we need a Blake Ruffino crystal ball on Samson. Well, how do you know I didn't drop one on the AYS message board? You better get over there. I dropped 3 crystal balls today, or whatever y'all want to call them. Ben bombs. Pooh Bear, is Ben bombs appropriate? Is that a good name for us predicting something? Or, we'll see. I don't know if that's a good one, but I like it. I like it for sure. Ryan says on YouTube, I thought AYS After Dark was on Twitter Spaces. I don't know. Pooh Bear says Blake's balls of confidence. Pause. Why is this man talking about my balls of confidence? I am having a second child, though, by the way, in November. I don't know how much confidence that gives me. But I certainly do have some confidence. Brandon Reed says, if Watson gets 6 games, then Kamar should only get 2 or 3. Well, he shouldn't get any. If we're being honest. I mean, apparently per the video this guy in the club started slapping his wife's ass or girlfriend's ass, and Kamar and his buddies gave him that little pop. Yep, how you get like we're on Street Fighter. Let me just tell you something, man, and I don't mean this in any kind of way. Some of you listening, you might be able to beat my ass, pause, but you might be able to beat me up. Let me just say this. If you touch my wife in an inappropriate way, we throwing down, dog. Bottom line. What you want Kamar to do? Walk away? You shouldn't be in the club. Shut up. Just because you eat mayonnaise out of a jar doesn't mean this man can't go have a couple of drinks with some of his buddies. And then somebody slaps his wife's ass multiple times, and y'all think it's egregious. Knowing good and damn well y'all would do the same thing. Knowing good and damn well. Anyway. Amanda on Facebook, who runs the Tiger Nation Facebook group, says 12 days till Saints preseason. Yeah, it's true. Trey Patton on Facebook says, hashtag ask Blake, did Carter Young sign? Yeah, he did. If you missed it, Pooh Bear, can y'all, I don't know if Zach's in comp, or not comp, what do you call that word if he's out of service? Can y'all share that tweet from me today about Carter Young, please, on the show very quickly? We did break some news today about Carter Young, so I'm going to let Zach or Pooh Bear find that tweet about Carter Young. It says sources or source Carter Young. I want to go through it very quickly. We'll put that up, Pooh Bear. We'll put that up as soon as we're done with the break. So as soon as we come out of the break, we'll fire that out. Chris English says, I'm with you 100%. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. John Bellin says, Blake, the saying is, you may beat me, but bring your lunch because it's going to take all day. You're damn right, bro. Don't touch my wife inappropriately, and then a guy only gets 6 games for so many alleged cases. I have my own thoughts on that. I don't think that, there's a lot of things I think there, but it would come out the wrong way, right? So I'm not gonna share that. Joshua Gertis says mayo out of a jar. Some of you dudes do eat. You touch my wife, you're the kind of guy that eats mayo out of a jar. White ass loser. Touch my wife, see what happens. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to stick up for Kamara. They shouldn't have fought or whatever. And I get that. You slap my wife on her fine ass, I swear to God, I'm giving you a 1-2 step uppercut. How you get up in that thing? And yet, meanwhile, Deshaun Watson's only getting 6 games. I promise you. We'll go to the depths of the earth. The mafia, the 985 mafia will rain down hellfire on your ass. But yet, Deshaun Watson gets 6 games. All right, already worked up. I don't know what this means, and I don't know if it's Pooh Bear. Guys, remember, you got to put dash PB or dash LP. I'll let Zach figure out what LP means. Okay. Got a lot to get into. Today. All right, let's do this. Everybody do us a favor and hit the like and share to all those Facebook groups. I see so many of you are listening to us live right now on Facebook. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Hit the like button. Hit the share to all those Facebook groups. If you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. If you're listening to us on XM Radio or you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Excuse me. We greatly appreciate it. Okay. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to our AYS message board. Brought in some big stuff today in reference to the message board. Okay. So, guys, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute 30. Pooh Bear is going to share the tweet with you of us breaking the news on Carter Young today. I'll explain everything that's going on with him. Some of you already probably have a pretty good idea about the $1.3 million, but we'll break it down on everything that happened last night, his intention to come to LSU and everything. But Sometimes, guys, things just change. All right, let's pay these bills. We'll be back in a minute 30. None better than our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons at betonline.ag. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. All right, Pooh Bear, can you share that very quickly? Our tweet from today. Here it is, guys. Source, Carter Young. So I think at 1:12 p.m. today, we were the first to report on it, but source, Carter Young, new LSU shortstop transfer from Vanderbilt, still may be signing with the Baltimore Orioles per source. This coming just a couple days after announcing he would be joining LSU this fall. Young was selected in the 17th round this past month. Okay, so let me break that down very quickly about everything that happened and everything that's going on. Late last night, I was advised by a couple of people and even into today that be on the lookout for Carter Young in reference to signing with the Orioles. The Orioles had a lot of money to work with, and this past draft, today around lunchtime, we ran some more things down and then ultimately got it confirmed that Carter Young was going to be signing for the well over asking price, or it's not even a slotted price in that 17th round. But I think Carter Young's a good player, man. He's a good defensive player. A lot of people look at the average from a season ago and put down on him. But when he was surrounded by a lot of good talent, he hit over 300. He hit a lot of home runs. He played really good defense. I think Carter Young's really good. I don't think that he should have been selected in the 17th round. But let me say this. You're going to want to go over to the AYS message board, AYSSnetwork.com. That's AYSSnetwork.com. I have a live feed going in there. Let me just say this. The Portal King ain't done yet. Let me just repeat this. The Portal King isn't done yet. So, yeah. Oh, and you can go over there and get these little nice stickers. We got our Man I Love Football shirts on the website as well. Larry Sane, I think I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I am not. But Larry on YouTube says, Blake, any news on how the Bayou Splash went? Guys, I honestly thought it went good. And this is a part of my Ruffino's rants and kind of where I wanted to start the show tonight. I got to be just full-blown and honest with you. And you might be saying, well, Blake, don't lie to me. And I get it. This is all a part of the plan. This has always been, always will be a part of the plan when it comes to Brian Kelly. You know, for weeks and months, we've seen LSU fans and media overreact to things, right? Like, oh, Brian Kelly can't recruit. Brad Davis doesn't know what he's doing. We don't have enough in-state recruits. Yada, 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 yada. Whatever it may be. Blah, 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 blah. Really and truthfully, when all that was being said, in all reality and totality, What the LSU staff heard was boo, 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 boo. Bullshit. It was never true. Having all of the Louisiana recruits, as many Louisiana recruits as you can at one time on one centric place. Now, all of a sudden, you see Shelton Sampson about to commit. Now you see Kylin Jackson about to commit. Kylin Jackson might be the most underrated kid in this entire class from the state of Louisiana. The only reason, I don't want to say why or the reasons, that kid is vastly underrated. But blah, 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 blah. Bullshit is all I keep hearing. And all of a sudden, now LSU finds himself in a situation where within the next week, and Kylin Jackson commits next Monday. In between this time, from a week from today, 5-star wide receiver from Catholic High School in Baton Rouge, Shelton Sampson, will commit. Go and see what we said on him on the message board. You're really going to want to see it. A week from today, Kylin Jackson commits. You're going to want to go to the message board and see it. But what I will tell you here tonight is, guys, if you get those two young men and you're able to reel in the big offensive lineman up north, and when I say up north, I'm talking about North Louisiana, congratulations. This class, in and of itself, has been goofy from the beginning. Goofy. Like this is Mickey Mouse's clubhouse. Some of you that will probably go over your head. This is always and has always been their ultimate plan. So now today we come to this conclusion and situation where you have some people coming out saying, you got to recruit the in-state. Oh, my God, what's going on with the in-state? And meanwhile, you got staff members saying, just give me a month. And all of a sudden, to end out July, and on July 1st, guys, we had reported that we are anticipating that LSU gets 7 commitments. Guys, they got 9. Recruiting is going to be fine under Brian Kelly. You don't have to worry about it. I never understood the situation and scenario where we should be worried about all of this. Never have understood it. Never. Because, guys, if Brian Kelly ends, and by the way, and I said this Saturday, and let me reemphasize this, because some of you don't like waking up early on Saturday mornings, which I get, which we'll have some big news this week about Saturday mornings. We'll be doing our own college game day, sort of, but through the SEC and through our good partners over at Believe. I don't know, man. To reiterate what we talked about Saturday, guys, not only are they going after high-level dudes from the high school ranks, they're going to have to hit the portal really hard too. There's going to be a lot of kids in the transfer portal this next season. And LSU's going to attack it just as hard as they attacked it a season ago. Guys, it may just be me, and I don't know if our producers feel the same way. It may just be me, but we have to look at the different. We have to look at recruiting in a different light. If you're bringing in 7 to 8 guys from the transfer portal, along with 25 to 30 high school recruits, you completely revamp your roster. There's going to be kids that transfer from LSU that you got to replenish. Brian Kelly has the potential to have a top 5 class when it comes from in the transfer portal and when it comes from high school recruits. And I get it. Some people are in my DMs all the time. Why, Blake, why is so-and-so shitting on this recruit? Pause, but I don't know. Guys, we've come to this conclusion. Two, and what I will even label Kylin Jackson as two potential 5-star athletes from the state of Louisiana will be committing within the next week, and LSU is definitely in the mix of it. I agree with Gerard here, Gerard Guillory. He said the worry week's in December. You're right. It's not right now. The legwork has to go in right now. So I am not concerned about it. So as this page turns, because guys, now the page will turn, right? Like, so to get into the camp that starts this week, guys, these guys report on Wednesday. Thursday camp starts. And then the only thing that we'll be talking about, worried about, is what's going on in the field. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Now, I know Friday or Saturday and Monday you'll be worried about recruiting. I get that. But Thursday, guys, we hit the field. It's football season, man. Get ready for it. It's here. So let me reiterate in something that we talked about deeply on Saturday, just to kind of repeat myself. Look, I'm not worried about the defense at all. Are there some position groups and some guys on that defense I worry about? Absolutely. But for this team right now, and I don't even know if I would necessarily want to call it a worry, but I am extremely cautiously optimistic about this LSU offense. You can say we have the talent all the livelong day, guys. All the livelong day. But let me give you a scenario very quickly. Let me ask everybody in this chat, give me a thumbs up if you agree with this statement. Jamar Chase is a damn good wide receiver. Thumbs up. If you agree with that statement, Jamar Chase is a very good wide receiver. Do you agree with that? Because if you agree with that statement, do you remember what happened in 2018? In 2018, Jamar Chase led LSU in drop passes. Didn't mean Jamar Chase wasn't talented. It means that he was unexperienced. He was unexperienced of having a pass thrown to him by Joe Burrow. As the season went on, Jamar Chase got better. And then we remember what happened in 2019. Guys, do you think that Jamar Chase is the only person that happens to? This team is extremely young. They have a lot of young pieces. They have a lot of inexperienced pieces offensively. The person that has the quote-unquote most experience, and not even necessarily the most experience, but the most production returning offensively is Kayshon Boutte in the SEC. And you're asking me if I'm worried. You're damn right I'm a little worried. 5 new offensive linemen. 3 new complete and true starters at wide receiver. John Emery has not started a game at LSU. And I am 1,000% convinced that John Emery is going to break out this year. I'm convinced of that. His leadership and off the field. I talked to John today, and we're going to be getting John on the show, I think, either this week or early next week. John Emery is locked, loaded, and ready to shut dudes down. However, I'm cautiously optimistic on this offense. At the end of the season, I want to be told, Blake, you were wrong. You should have never worried about this offense. Completely cool with it. Completely fine with it. I would rather you guys, as many of you as putting the thumbs up in the comments, I would rather you come in here and say, Blake, why were you even that remotely worried about this team offensively? Okay. I was wrong. But as camp starts Thursday, I'm going to watch the quarterbacks, offensive line, running backs, and receivers. I'll worry about the defense in a minute. Maybe I'm speaking on this is coming from an offensive guy. Maybe so. Maybe so. But damn it, football's here, man. And here's another thing. Maybe the season does start off a little rocky. Maybe you're 4-2 in the first 6 games, and then you go 5-1 down the stretch with your only loss being to Alabama. That is very plausible. Very plausible. But I want to see it. Okay, get to a couple comments. Carter the Power Bryant joining us in 1 minute. I hope the team starts some stuff, but my man Zach's still on the phone, man. He talking to them honeys. You can't stop a 21-year-old man from talking to women. Hey, girl, this is dude, do you know I'm 21 and have a full goatee? Did you know that my goatee had a 401k plan? I guess like got retirement and benefits. That's how white people spit game. Ryan. It's true. Ryan on YouTube says about the 1.3 million. I may have taken that bag too. Of course you would have taken the bag if you're Carter Young. You would be an idiot not to take $1.3 million. Like, what are you talking about? If you are Carter Young, you are taking the money 10 out of 10 times. It's not a question. So when we brought up there earlier about the news that we had broke today about Carter Young, basically Baltimore came back to Carter and said, hey, look, we got some money freed up. Do you want 1.3 million? And he goes, you're damn right I do. Dylan Allen says that message board is A1, Blake, really worth the $7 a month. You're damn right it's worth $7 a month. Shit, it's really worth $14 a month, all the info and interaction I gave y'all up in that thing. But $7 is there to stay. Jeff says, hashtag ask Blake, if you could add this to your rants, go check out Trey Holly's tweet saying every time I step in the facility, this coaching staff, I could recommit. Yeah, I saw that. Big news, man. Trey Holly loves him some LSU. But you know what he loves more? A film breakdown from Carter the Power Bryant. That's what I heard. Sources. Ryan says, bruh, Zach, get off the phone. You have a job to do, and you're not doing it. Dylan Landry says, you a damn lie, Blake. I don't ever spit game that good. It's true. White people can't speak game that good. That's why you need to become an Italian. All right, let's do this. Let's pay these bills very quickly. Carter the Power Bryant. Ha-ha! My man. The absolute GOAT in this media beat. Carter the Power Bryant. He's going to join us in 1 minute, but let's pay these bills. None better than our good friends over at Gramco, thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25 at checkout. My good friend Carl Falls over at State Farm. Guys, we'll see you in a minute 30 with your legend, Carter the Power Bryant. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS 25. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Yes. The man, the myth, the legend is back. Carter, the power Bryant. What's up, dude?
I wish my name was Carter the Power Young.
You know, it's interesting you say that. If it was Carter the Power Young, I'd be asking, can I hold $1,000 till tomorrow and not pay it? But nevertheless, Carter Young did sign today. I don't know how much baseball talk you want to get into, but that's
none. I saw that. And it's not that I dislike baseball. I had never heard of him before today, and I saw you break that news earlier because you're the most underrated scoop artist. And I saw that, and I was like, oh, man, if only I were that person. You want to know what's interesting, though, Blake? One of the best 2024 basketball prospects, his name is Carter Bryant.
I know. We talked about that. He's got an LSU offer.
Yes, you were the one that told me that. And I was like, yeah. Oh my goodness, this guy has a 30-inch vertical leap higher than my vertical leap.
So he's got a 40-inch vertical leap, is what you're saying? Because you're next to 10?
But I couldn't jump. I was the only kid on my basketball team that couldn't touch the rim. Couldn't touch
that doesn't really matter, Carter.
But I couldn't even touch the net. I couldn't even touch the bottom of the net.
Could Steve Nash?
He could touch the bottom of the net. Like, you have to be.
But he's Canadian white, though. That's not real white. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. But no, Blake, I'm glad to be here. Glad you and I had a lot of discussions earlier today. It's a big week. Hopefully next Monday, we are celebrating 2 massive commitment pickups. But I know you feel this way, even though you do like recruiting and I like recruiting. We like actual football better. So I am very happy that we are one day closer to actually getting actual football played, which is insane.
So let's start off with recruiting, and then let's get on the field because that's where we're going to spend 99.9% of our time. Carter, I'm utterly convinced that this staff had a plan and they're executing the plan. You get all these kids from the state of Louisiana in one room, one locked in location. You get Tyree Adams out of New Orleans, who I think is extremely underrated to commit to you. Now you have Shelton Sampson, then you have Kylin Jackson, which we talked about today, which, Carter, one day we need to release our text message thread on social media to see the reaction of all the scoops that Baskin Robbins has in that for that LSU beat that we're putting in there. But nevertheless, I think that this was a plan by Brian Kelly. It was meticulous. I think he listened to guys like Frank Wilson on this. When you see these 2 guys committing this early and a lot of in-state pursuing on this, how confident are you with these 2 men?
Yeah, I feel obviously more comfortable with Shelton Sampson. LSU's been in the lead for the longest, but he is the most important player in this cycle, right? Like, as far as the position he plays, the wide receiver depth, only getting 1 wide receiver from the class before, Landon Ibieta, who I think is going to be a good player. But at wide receiver, you need to be bringing in at least no less than 2, no less than 3. And then obviously if you get
argument, Carter, there's no less than 4 with not having a limit, right?
Yeah, and keep in mind, wide receiver behind quarterback is the 2nd highest rate when it comes to getting into the transfer portal. So that's why you got to keep bringing in a lot of great wide receivers. Now, what makes LSU very interesting, Blake, is all the wide receivers over the past decade have all been from Louisiana. But not only have they all been from Louisiana, they've all not been transfers. So a lot of LSU's wide receiver success has come from guys that got into the program and just worked their way up the depth chart. So obviously Sheldon Sampson, I mean, this guy is just incredible, right? You look at some of his high school stats, 40 catches for 932 yards. That's actually pretty good considering Catholic High was more of a run-based team last year. They had 2 1,000-yard rushers, and the fact that he had more receiving yards than the next 2 receivers combined on the team lets you know that he dominated his fair share of the reception yards on a really, really good football team. So that lets you know that he can really play. 23 yards per catch, a really good deep threat, but it wasn't all just deep catches, right? It was screens. It was
Screen pass he took to the house.
Yeah, I mean, he could really, really, really play. So obviously, you do wonder about Texas A&M. You do worry about Florida State, considering Catholic High has some Florida State staffers, Florida State has a Catholic High staffer, Coach Fertitta over there. But I feel pretty good about LSU getting this done. Now, the guy that really shocked me today was Kylin Jackson. And the hard thing about it, Blake, is
give me the praise.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit, man. I never just sat down and just watched him, right? He's good. He's a really good football player, right? And last week we were talking about losing Avery Atkins. That's a huge loss for LSU. And now, obviously, they're going to have Finnison, the transfer from Northwestern. But there's not many people that can kick it out of the back of the end zone 80% of the time like Atkins could. So what does that mean? Well, you need guys that can go down there and fly and make tackles.
Bust it wide open.
Yeah. And Kylin Jackson, there's so many highlight reel kickoff team tackles this guy makes. So even if you don't think he is a year 1 safety, not many people are, he is going to be a special teams assassin for you right off the jump. And those assets are very valuable. We've seen a lot of true freshmen special teamers turn out to be really good players down the road, even if they're not playing their actual position in year 1. Obviously, the biggest example of that is Jarvis Landry.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Duke Riley is another guy that comes to mind.
Exactly. So, yeah, Kylin Jackson, I'm all in. I really am. And I don't think the gap between him and Derek Williams is really all that wide. I just don't. And the recruiting ranking suggests that. But the truth is those guys are very close in terms of ability.
I think Kylin Jackson enjoys going down on kickoff return and punt return and lighting the dude up. This is what I feel about him because of his size, Carter. Now, maybe, there's some things that doesn't remind me of this person. My comp is a more aggressive Eric Reed. Yeah. Dude, honestly. So I went back and looked at it. So Kylin Jackson, same height, same weight.
Wow. I like it. Look,
I'm telling you, Carter, I put this on our message board or whatever. He is the outside of maybe Kai Preen, but I think even more than Kai Preen. He is the most underrated recruit, in my opinion, that no one's talking about.
I agree. I totally agree, man. I was blown away. Like, I was floored.
Carter, that state championship game?
All over the place.
He single-handedly tracked down Jacoby Matthews 5 times and made a tackle in the open field and lit him a new one. That's when I knew, what's that old Nike commercial? Well, that's when I knew I was going to be a stud. That's when I knew.
He can play, man. He could play. And it's hard, right? Like, it's hard to sit down and watch every single player. I just hadn't until today. Like, I really just, there's so many players that you sit down and evaluate. I know you do it, Blake. It's one of my favorite things to do. And, man, I'm serious. My jaw hit the floor. I had skimmed through his huddle tape once and a few, 7-on-7 stuff. But today was just like, wow, this guy really is incredible. And I slept on him. I'm not gonna lie, I slept on him, but now I'm awoken. I feel it. I feel it, Zachary.
All right, last thing, then we're going to get to on the field for this team.
Yeah.
So Ponchatoula in the state championship game had a wide receiver that went to Notre Dame, a wide receiver that's playing in Group of Five or FCS, a running back that's playing in the FCS, two offensive linemen playing in the FCS, and Jacoby Matthews. Okay.
Interesting.
Really good from a high school perspective, a really damn good team, right? Like, I mean, you got seven guys on your offense and 8 if you include Jacoby Matthews, who are all playing at a very high level. I mean, considering some kids never make it and even start in high school. He was on the far right hash, Kylin Jackson, and they threw a fade. I forget the young man's name from Ponchatoula. He knew that the coverage that they had called was going to get blown and started running down the field, okay, to track down the wide receiver. An interception later, I think he ran 60 yards to make a pick. I'm not exaggerating. You can ask anybody that was there, and LSU staff included. I put my clipboard down and said, I'm done. I get to go home. He is a stud, and I'm telling you, Carter, I think that I can make the argument that he is a top 3 recruit in this state.
You can.
I can make that argument. Okay.
You can make it strong.
I'm high on that young man now. He better not prove me wrong. All right, so let's get on the field. Carter, I don't know how much you listened to my opening monologue, rant, whatever. Thursday, I'm all offense. I want to see the line. I want to see their conditioning. I want to see what they look like. I want to see the quarterbacks, the running backs, the wide receivers. I am grossly getting cautiously optimistic on this offense, but I got to see it. Carter Bryant walks out to the practice field on Thursday. Where's the first place he's going?
Oh, it's offensive line. I mean, come on. It's obvious, right? Because look, everyone's going to be looking at the quarterbacks, so I know I'll get, plenty of quarterback information. Blake, I think the offensive line is just the most fascinating position on this team, and it's not really a close second. Like, I think we have an idea of what they're going to line up and look like, but man, I mean, Blake, you know how important that center position is. Man, how they actually order themselves is going to be interesting. A guy that you like a lot, Anthony Bradford, what is he going to look like? How is he?
Drop 30 pounds per Brian Kelly.
I mean, if you lose that much weight, that means you're really starting to get serious, right?
Did you see his tweet?
No, I didn't.
A picture of him?
I like it. He's starting to take. Hey, if he puts out a good year, he'll get drafted. Also, Blake, I'm just really, really, really high on Emory Jones. Right? Does he, day one have a Will Campbell type of impact on this line? Right? There's already a lot of rumors and people that you trust with information, people that I trust with information, that Will Campbell is kind of become a leader of sorts, right? It's really hard to do as a true freshman. So, that means that there is room for a young guy to step in and be really good. And I think Emory Jones is really, really, really good. Does he factor into some kind of rotation? Does he find his way onto the field in some shape, form, or fashion? I mean, he's nimble. I mean, he's got everything I want in an offensive line prospect, right? Blocking screens. One of Shelton Sampson's best plays is sprung on an Emory Jones block, kicking out the corner. And Blake, as an offensive lineman, that block rarely gets completed. I mean, you have got
Not only does it rarely get completed, 9 times out of 10, either you're extremely athletic and you have to get out there, but it normally never happens because you're not athletic enough before the quarterback's got to get the ball out.
Exactly. I don't know, that's high school and you're going up to Division I, but Emory Jones is a really, really, really good football player. That's probably out of, him and Harold Perkins, the freshmen that are coming now into the fall for the first time. Those are the two guys that obviously I would be zeroed in on. And then, of course, it's a quarterback battle. And I know there's been a lot of questions in the chat here about who's going to play where, who's going to start. that will settle itself. But for me, I would just be zeroed in on that offensive line because I just want to see where everybody is actually going to line up. And I also brought up.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I also brought up Emory Jones because my guy Rob G, man, that's one of my good buddies. He loves Emory Jones. He also loves John Emery, right? And this is a year for him, Blake. This is it.
I spoke with John today, and I don't think he would mind me saying that. He'll probably be on the show, this weekend or early next week. Locked in. I'm all right with him. I'm all right with John. Look, Carter, this is my conclusion. If you know that you're not going to win a natty and you feel like you have the talent to go 8-4, 9-3, and you start Emory Jones at right guard, kick Miles Frazier to right tackle and call it a day.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it, man. Look.
But here's my worry, though, Carter.
Go ahead.
You have two offensive linemen that are freshmen on the offensive line. Expect bad shit to happen.
It happens.
And here's the truth now. Here's the truth. I think that might be why Brian Kelly, speaking of quarterback, doesn't know if Miles can get the ball out quick enough or be mobile enough with his feet to get out the pocket.
Right. And this is where it gets interesting, right? You have a lot. I mean, the issue with the offensive line isn't the fact that the room isn't deep, right? The room is actually very deep in terms of,
man.
Yeah, the room is actually very deep in terms of scholarship guys that have pedigree, guys that have experience on the offensive line. When you look at transfer portal data, it does show that offensive linemen do transfer less than the other positions in college football.
Because we're loyal.
You're loyal, right? There's a family type of atmosphere, and I think that's part of it. And I also think it's partially because a lot of offensive linemen think that they're one play away from getting a high volume of snaps. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I know we're, piping up Emory Jones right here. Xavier Hill, Marlon Martinez, Marcus Dumerville, obviously, the biggest name of them all, Mr. Pancake himself, Cardell Thomas. It's put up or shut up time for a lot of these guys, including Charles Turner, guys that just haven't played a whole lot, right? And then for me, Blake, this is something that I would personally like to see on the offensive line. There is a lot of value in Cam Wire not starting, right? He is a starter on the SEC level, a decent starter, but if you have him as a backup, he has got experience at right guard, right tackle, and left tackle. That is a very valuable, and Blake, this term, swing offensive lineman, right?
He is a guard 10 times out of 10.
I agree. But if you absolutely needed a backup tackle, he can give you something there. So I would prefer him being the number 6 guy, if you will.
Let's see what Emory Jones does day one. Okay, because there's a difference in a guy in 5A hitting you and Jacoby and Guillory hitting you.
True.
Or Mason Smith hitting you. And I'm going to be honest, Carter, when you did your film breakdown on this offensive line, you know who wasn't getting pushed around much? The tackles were. Cam Wire and Will Campbell were a little bit. You know who wasn't? Those 3 interior guys, right? Like those 3 interior guys now. And look, Trayvon Shorts, I mean, for what it's worth, good luck, because that man's got culture strength. Like meaning mama gets the country fried steak done strength. You know what I'm saying? Like that man's got some strength, like strength. Like you can't even say it right. He's so strong. Carter the Power Bryant from Power Hour LSU joins us. Carter, we have a lot of people in here asking recruiting questions, so I'll fire one off to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian Williams from the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com, says, #Ask Carter, is Ricky Collins' commitment to Purdue on shaky ground right now, in your opinion?
Yes and no. It just comes down to what he wants, right? Look, it's pretty simple, Blake. The dream is to play at LSU. It always has been and always will be for 90% of elite recruits, right? But it comes down to just a simple philosophical question. At Purdue, there's just not going to be as much quarterback competition. You are playing against weaker competition. Purdue's offenses have never really just been awful. So, you're not going to just some awful program. And they have shown you love from the get-go, right? You go to LSU, though, and you join a quarterback room that is indeed very loaded, but you do get to stay close to home and play for the dream school. Now, obviously, we have seen Joe Sloan talk to Ricky Collins at 7-on-7 camps. And then, of course, we have this recruiting information from this past weekend. I do feel Ricky is a little bit more open now, now that he's gotten to know Sloan a little bit more to come to LSU. But it's tough. And Blake, you make this point on your show and you do a really good job of it. This is just the truth. You have to view quarterbacks in every facet of the game of football way differently than you do every single position. It's almost as if they play a different sport, right? And it's true. Like, there are so many extra factors that you have to
drama queens too in recruiting. Like, hey, I heard you FaceTime so-and-so. His daddy told me. It's insane, Carter.
It's insane. And look, that's the case for a lot of QBs, which is why a lot of QBs lock themselves into a slot as soon as they possibly can.
And the Baylor kid, I forget the young man's name, but he's committed to Baylor. He came out today and said, listen, media, shut up. I'm locked into Baylor. Like, that's how serious it gets with this quarterback position, to your point.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And look, you have some weird cases now that you have in Miami. They have 2 2023 quarterbacks committed with Rashada and some other 3-star. Yeah. And then Brock Glenn going to Ohio State now. But then you have the case with Alabama, right? Why on earth would Lawner again and Eli Holstein, both top 100 national players, so we're talking about cream of the crop here, why would they both want to be in Alabama when they have one of the biggest log jams at quarterback you'll ever see? And that's after Bryce Young leaves. You never know. Quarterback decision-making in terms of recruiting is on a different timeline, and there's all these different factors for a quarterback that is just mind-boggling, right? And one quick thing, and I'm glad, the law firm drops a really nice comment such as this one. One thing that's very weird about quarterbacks is the 2 best quarterbacks of the past decade who had the 2 best seasons, right? I think we would all agree that Cam Newton and Joe Burrow are those guys.
Both transfers.
Right? Yeah. They both never became the guy at their first school, right? The 2 best single seasons, they were never the guy at their first school.
Carter, I can make the argument. If you let's think about this. Kyler Murray didn't do it. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. Baker Mayfield. Is there any other transfer that had elite seasons that I'm missing, especially at that position?
Well, those are the Heisman ones, but Justin Fields would have ran away with the Heisman. Joe Burrow's
hurts. Justin Fields threw 38 touchdowns in one pick in that 19-year that Burrow won it. Carter, he threw 38 touchdowns in one pick.
It's unreal. It's unreal. It's unreal.
It's insane.
It's crazy. It's insane.
And they started Jake Fromm's ass.
But that's the thing. You just don't know. And now let's do this, Blake. Let's tie this into the LSU quarterback room. Okay.
Not that. It's an accidental button.
Oh, it's accidental. I thought you were going to.
Accidental. Keep going.
No. So let's tie this into the LSU quarterback room, right? What's very key is I hear this all the time, that we all have our different picks of who we want the quarterback to be, right? Mm-hmm. The truth, though, is it's really hard to pick the best quarterback. What's really good about this weird sport called college football is that you don't necessarily need to pick the best quarterback to actually win games, right? So it could be a scenario where all 3 of them are good enough to go out there and win versus Florida State. It's just going to come down to maybe the coaching staff says, look, I'm going to start the guy that I think has the highest likelihood of not losing us our first week's game. So there's so many different factors. It may not be, though, that the guy that starts week 1 is the best possible option, but he still might be able to get the job done. It's not like that in the NFL, right? Where more often than not, you do need to start your best possible option for you to win the game. So it's a very fascinating situation.
All right. Last question, or two things, and last question, we'll get you out of here, Carter. Number one, it's easy for me to look at Ricky Collins' recruitment and say Jaylen Brown, Shelton Sampson. So Lance Hurd, Will Campbell. I ran this down there Saturday morning on my show. Think about this potential. Me and you went through this in a text.
Let's do it.
You could have a potential. Chris Hilton, Brian Thomas, and I don't think Brian Thomas stays, but let's just play a hypothetical. Shelton Sampson, Jaylen Brown, Kyle Parker, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Fitzgerald West. We can throw in another guard, DJ Chester.
Love it.
So Lance Hurd, Kylin Jackson. I mean, not Kylin, Caleb Jackson, right. Trey Holly. Quarterback being Walker Howard or Ricky Collins. Carter, I'm going to tell you something. Don't tell me Brian Kelly can't recruit.
It sounds like a championship level squad right there. Could be.
Anyway, all right, last question for you, Carter. And Marshall says, hashtag ask Carter. Outside of QB, what's the biggest question mark on the team to you? You answered that partially. You talked about the O-line. Is there another one that you're looking forward to Thursday?
Special teams. I know Ant's a big special teams guy. Ant loves every last little thing about football. I mean, he's such a sharp football mind. Special teams.
My guy at Pro Football Focus sent me a thing this weekend. He's working with me on some stuff. Did you know that if LSU converts field goals against Auburn, Alabama, and Arkansas, they go 9-3 instead of going for it on fourth down?
You're talking about this last year, or
yeah? If you think about it, Carter, LSU went 0-3 on fourth downs in the red zone against Bama. You kick the field goals, you win. Okay. Arkansas is the same chance. If you don't go in a wildcat, you don't fumble the football. If you don't fumble the football, Ty Davis-Price on the 30-yard line.
I agree with that.
Nussmeier doesn't throw the interceptions. Like if you elect to kick the field goals in place of going for it on fourth down, Carter, you could have been 9-3. It's interesting you say that about special teams. That's an interesting point because we don't get to see them at practice much, and I want to see Dybert kick. And I don't want to wait till Florida State to have to do it as well. Maybe we'll get some scrimmages. Maybe Brian Kelly will open it. Okay. Brother, you were fantastic. Thank you so much for joining. Tell us what you have planned moving forward this week as camp starts on your show.
So I'm actually launching like a more general SEC channel probably on Wednesday or Thursday. Talking about the college football playoff SEC predictions. Like I'll give you a little spicy take here.
Okay.
Tennessee wins the East. Tennessee wins the East this year.
Get out of here.
Tennessee wins the East.
We're not having.
Look, I have to set ablaze the chat before I get out of here. Okay. So I'm watching that, and I do, instead of talking about Power Hour LSU, I do want to give a special shout out to somebody on special teams. That is my buddy, Slade Roy, right?
Yeah, Academic Player of the Year. Or a week or month or whatever.
Shout out to Slade. He is such an interesting guy. And he jumped on the channel like a month and a half, 2 months ago. He was hilarious. And I'm so excited he's a part of this team. He feels like an LSU Tiger, right?
I agree.
Yeah, he's so interesting. So I wanted to shout him out and show him some love because, come on, we got to show deep snapper love, baby. One of the most important positions on the team. Got to have consistency there, baby.
Remember this day. Remember this statement. If Tennessee wins the East, I will drive to Arkansas. Okay. I will get a bag full of a McDonald's bag full of cash, I will knock on your door, I will give it to you, and I will drive home all on the same day.
Okay, that sounds great, man.
Here's the thing, though. I want a Joe Burrow rookie card. That's all I ask.
I'll send you.
No.
Look at that. I've always got one just sitting right here.
Is that pre-appendix or post-appendix?
That's pre-appendix. I think this was a game where they beat. Yeah, it is the game where they beat. When they beat Tennessee, year one, Christian Fulton, and the Tennessee
card. Don't you dare sell it. I'm coming for that card.
Yeah, come on, it's yours, man. It's all yours, man.
We'll talk to you soon, man. We'll see you next Monday at the latest. We'll talk a lot this upcoming week.
Lemon pepper chicken wing night. Gotta go. Let's go.
Later, dude. All right, that's Carter the Power Bryant from LSU Power Hour. I love listening to Carter. If I'm being honest, I listen to him all the time. All right. Our buddy Preston's doing his first show back. So we're going to go ahead and end it here in just a second. But Edward O says, Blake made me sick, reminded me about LSU not being able to convert in the red zone versus Bama. Yeah, it makes me want to have explosive throw up all over the place. All right, let's do this. Let's pay these bills right quick. We'll end it with Pooh Bear and Zach. So we're good friends over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. But I do want to talk about my good friend John Patton over at GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. If you're buying a new home, saving money the mortgage that you have now, or even doing a cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Get in touch with John Patton at GMFS Mortgage today, 225-614-1234. Tell him your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Let's pay this last bill. Carter and Zach when we return to close it out.
The Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
We're not able to play the music anymore. Boo! Copyright infringement. All right, guys, what are y'all thinking about the start of camp? What is y'all's thought process on this?
It can't get here soon enough. It's exciting.
Well, it's here Thursday. Hold your horses.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, who are you texting, Zach?
Well, you know. No, I'm just kidding. My buddy he's overseas serving our military. I don't get to talk to him a lot, and he called me, so I had to chat with him for a little bit.
Pooh, do you believe that?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't
either. I think he's a lying sack of manure. Pooh, excuse me. I choked on the lies of Zach. Pooh Bear, what you think about camp starting this week? Are you excited or what?
Yeah. I'm trying to.
It's a long off season, isn't it, guys?
Excited is an understatement.
Literally everybody I've talked to. I talked to my son's high school coach, and Friday. Oh no, I'm sorry, Saturday, and we were talking about it. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. This is the longest off season ever for everybody.
Well, a lot of that, and trust me from experience here, it has a lot to do with you getting your asses kicked on a lot of these games. Okay, it's a sucky offseason when you go 6-7.
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine, we go on these spaces, these Twitter spaces, and Miami fans say, "Oh, my vagina hurts." Now you know how they feel. Oh, my vagina. I understand it, but it's a long offseason, so the grind is over. Thank God.
And the coaching transition also, that plays a big factor.
Hey, what's this? Are we talking Louisiana or are we talking
Hey,
Alabama?
First off, keep that comment up and keep it up. Y'all saw Hayes Green said, try to outsource me today? Well, my sources. You saw that? You don't source the source king. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
All right, but who is winning 5A this year? Who you think? I'm picking Zachary.
I have no clue who's in what in Louisiana. So
Give me Zachary. Give me Zachary. Dude, I'm telling you, Kylin Jackson's a dog. Let me say this. If there wasn't some things going on with him that he had to get corrected, he'd be a 5-star. Kylin Jackson's a dog. And let me tell you this to all these recruiting services, you freaking Rudy Poos. Find out what's going on with the young man off the field before you start making judgments because you live in a suburban-ass neighborhood and you have no worries in the world. Just throwing that out there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. All right, guys, we will see y'all again tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.